Okay, we could probably go here and have a look at Erasmus. Yeah, save you some time. Yeah, but it probably won't tell you that he was like that. But you don't know. If you don't dig, you're not going to know. You're not going to find the dirt, right? If there is any dirt to be found. Okay. Okay, just going to go there. Okay. Desiderius Erasmus Rotterdamus. Oh my gosh, long name. English, Erasmus of Rotterdam. Dutch philosopher and Christian scholar who is widely considered to have been one of the greatest scholars of the Northern Renaissance. There's a little history on that. As a Catholic priest, Erasmus was an important figure in classical scholarship who wrote in a pure Latin style. Among humanists, he enjoyed the sobriquet, I don't know how you say that word, nickname. Prince of the Humanists, and has been called the crowning glory of the Christian humanists. Using humanist techniques for working on text, he prepared important new Latin and Greek editions of the New Testament, which raised questions that would be influential in the Protestant Reformation and Catholic Counter-Reformation. He also wrote on free will, In Praise of Folly, Handbook of a Christian Knight, on civility in children. Okay. First published in 1530, was addressed to the 11-year-old Henry of Burgundy. Okay, Copia, Foundations of the Abundant Style, Julius Exclusus, and many other works. Erasmus lived against the backdrop of the growing European religious Reformation. While he was critical of the abuses within the Catholic Church and called for reform, he nonetheless kept his distance from Luther, Henry VIII, and John Calvin, and continued to recognise the authority of the Pope, emphasising a middle way with a deep respect for traditional faith, piety and grace, and rejecting Luther's emphasis on faith alone. Erasmus remained a member of the Catholic Church all his life, remaining committed to reforming the Church and its clerics' abuses from within. He also held to the doctrine of synergism. What's that? Okay. Which some reforms Calvinists rejected in favour of the doctrine of monergism. His middle road via media, Latin phrase meaning the middle of the road, and his philosophical maxim for life, which advocates moderation in all thoughts and actions. Approach disappointed and even angered scholars in both camps. Okay. Let's have a look here. Early life. Born in Rotterdam, 20th October in the late 1460s. He was named after Saint Erasmus of Formiae, whom Erasmus's father Gerard personally favoured. Okay. The exact year of his birth is controversial, but most agree it was 1466. Okay. Ordination and monastic experience, education and scholarship. He suffered from poor health and complained that Queen's College could not supply him with enough decent wine. Wine was a Renaissance medicine for gallstones, for which Erasmus suffered. Translation, Spain's Polyglot Bible and Erasmus's Greek New Testament. Okay. Erasmus had been working for years on two projects: a collapse of Greek text and a fresh Latin Testament. In 1512, he began his work on this Latin New Testament. He collected all the Vulgate manuscripts he could find to create a critical edition. Then he polished the language. He declared it is only fair that Paul should address the Romans in somewhat better Latin. In the earlier phases of the project, he never mentioned a Greek text. His contribution, his publication and editions. The team said impartiality and disagreement with Luther. Free will does not exist according to Luther. It is letter de servo arbitrio to Erasmus, translated into German by Justus Jonas 1526, and that sin makes human beings completely incapable of bringing themselves to God. Noting Luther's criticism of the Catholic Church, Erasmus described him as a mighty trumpet of gospel truth, while agreeing it is clear that many of the reforms which Luther calls are urgently needed. He had great respect for Luther, and Luther spoke with admiration of Erasmus' superior learning, and so forth. What's this? Okay. And there's some argument there between him and somebody else. Religious toleration. Certain works of Erasmus laid a foundation for religious toleration and ecumenism. Gives you an example there. Sacraments, death, okay, writings, okay. Okay, I don't see anything here of him being different. And being of the gay persuasion, I don't see anything there. There's nothing there. No one's brought it up. So it could be hearsay. What's this? The true point of the church is to help people lead Christian lives. Priests are supposed to be pure, yet when they stray, no one condemns them. He criticises the riches of the popes, believing that it would be better for the gospel to be most important. See anything here stating that he was of the gay persuasion or seducer? I don't know. I don't see nothing here. Okay, let's have a look. Get rid of that one. Go even deeper to answer that question. Didn't even write it, did I? Okay. Let's see anything here. So I'm going to take that as hearsay. Okay. Going to go deeper. Okay, here we go. The only serious evidence in support of the Erasmus was gay hypothesis is a series of 9 letters from Erasmus to Servatius Rogerius, a fellow monk. They were all written in 1487 to 88, when Erasmus was 21 years old and new to the monastery. Supporters of the Erasmus was gay hypothesis interpret these as love letters. Christian chat. I think I've been there before, and they disagreed on my stand with the original Aramaic scriptures, so they banned me. Yeah, they got very nasty. Okay, because I wasn't conforming to their Bible versions, right, with their theology or their claims. Okay, yeah, so let's have a look at this. Yeah, I don't think it was just a silly rumour that's going around. It's all hearsay. Okay, someone's taking it the wrong way. Okay, here's a spiel on it. I don't think it actually is saying anything much about him. Okay, second fact decided. In the claims for Erasmus, homosexuality arises from his relationship with Thomas Gray, whom Erasmus tutored while he was in Paris. Gray's guardian became angry with Erasmus and terminated the relationship. The conjecture is that the guardian suspected Erasmus of having homosexual design upon young Gray. Herewith the details. Another possible argument arises from the circumstances surrounding the loss of support from his benefactor while he was studying in Paris. The bishop who had sent him there stopped sending money. Could this have been due to the bishop discovering that Erasmus was gay? This guy came upon a hypothesis during researching that issue. In my opinion, constitutes the strongest evidence in favour of the Erasmus was gay hypothesis. Against these 4 fragments of evidence, we have these 6 negative arguments. First, nobody during his time accused him of homosexuality. Given the polemic nature of the times, the absence of such an accusation strongly suggests an absence of any evidence. Indeed, Heinrich Eppendorf, who actually lived in Erasmus's household for nearly a year, attempted to blackmail Erasmus by threatening to publish a slanderous book about him. Erasmus refused to pay blackmail. Eppendorf published the book, and it made no accusation of homosexuality. Second, in his vast output, Erasmus never published anything positive about homosexuality. He had plenty of opportunities to exercise some editorial bias in his writings, but when he did, all the bias was anti-gay. Third, Erasmus has a golden opportunity to indulge in homosexual relationships while he was in Italy, yet he spurned it. Fourth, Erasmus retained the respect and esteem of a great many men, including many who demonstrated little tolerance for deviation from accepted norms. Thomas More was Erasmus' best friend, and More was prudish, morally rigid, and intolerant. It is inconceivable that More would have kept Erasmus as a friend had he known that Erasmus was gay. It is equally inconceivable that Erasmus could have kept More in the dark about his sexual preferences if he were gay. Erasmus was at his best in free conversation or over a good meal, when the wine had loosened tongues, just enough to let the wit flow freely. It was widely known that his after-dinner comments were considerably spicier than the more measured phrasings in his writings. Erasmus spent many months at More's home. Very much doubt that he could have gotten through without some sort of slip. Yeah, it was that wine loosens the tongue, right? Fifth, Erasmus plainly stated on many occasions his criteria for loving another. They had nothing to do with eroticism or of any kind. And finally, Erasmus on many occasions made comments that are not consistent with the Erasmus gay hypothesis. Okay, so he's yet to find any biographer of Erasmus who concluded that he was gay. His most antagonistic biographer, Father Christopher Hollis, concludes, we cannot say that Erasmus was guilty, but we can say that if he had been guilty, he would nevertheless have denied it. Walker, 1993. Commenting on the Sabotage letters, concludes, this ardent friendship, entirely platonic though it was, revealed a delicate temperament, a craving for tenderness ill-suited to the rigidity of monastic rule. Showick's conclusion is homosexuality is, while not impossible, unlikely in any case, not proven. Okay, so it's all hearsay. Okay, it's all based around rumours. Okay, probably the best thing to do would go, if you could, check out that supposed letters. Where was it? I guess up here somewhere. Okay. Here's the entire discussion. So yeah, I'd say it was hearsay. There's no proof. Okay. Okay, some letters by him, apparently. Ah, okay. Now somebody else, is it? Yeah, somebody else. Okay. Yeah. The claims are all based upon a blundering misinterpretation of his letters. He's written this short essay on the matter. Okay, so we're going to leave it at that. We didn't dwell on that for too long. Okay, so yeah, that's just hearsay. There's no proof that he was. Okay, of that persuasion. Anyway, going back to these manuscripts. The manuscript became known to Western scholars as a result of correspondence between Erasmus and the prefects of the Vatican Library. Portions of the Codex were collated by several scholars, but numerous errors were made during this process. Okay, were they put together? Yeah, collated, I think that means put together. Not really sure on that one. Okay, check it out. Collated. Collation is the assembly of written information to a standard order. Many systems of collation are based on numerical order or alphabetical order or extensions and combinations thereof. Collation is a fundamental element of most office filing systems, library catalogues and reference books. Okay, it's arranged, collected or assembled in the correct order. That's basically it. Okay. By several scholars, but numerous errors were made during this process. The Codex relationship to the Latin Vulgate was unclear. A late 14th century translation of the Bible, but it was to become the Catholic Church's officially promulgated Latin version of the Bible during the 16th century as the Sixtine Vulgate, or 16th Vulgate, then as the Clementine Vulgate. Okay, the Codex's relation to the Latin Vulgate was unclear and scholars were initially unaware of its value. This changed in the 19th century when transcriptions of the full Codex were completed. It was at that point that scholars realized the text differed significantly from the Textus Receptus. And what is that? All editions of the Greek text of the New Testament from the Novum Instrumentum Omni established by Erasmus in 1516 to the 1633 Our Severe edition. The 1633 Our Severe edition is sometimes included, and it goes on. Okay, most current scholars consider the Codex Vaticanus to be one of the most important Greek witnesses to the Greek text of the New Testament, followed by the Codex Sinaiticus, or Sinai Bible, one of the four great unsealed codices, ancient handwritten copies of a Christian Bible in Greek. The Codex is a historical treasure. Until the discovery by Tischendorf, he discovered the world's oldest and most complete Bible, dated to around the mid-4th century and called Codex Sinaiticus. Okay. Tischendorf or Sinaiticus Vaticanus was unrivaled. It was extensively used by Westcott and Hort. Are they not the guys that published the Jehovah's Witnesses New World Translation? Okay, here's one of them. Okay, their edition of it was extensively used by Westcott Hort in the edition of the New Testament in the original Greek in 1881. The most widely sold editions of the Greek New Testament are largely based on the text of the Codex Vaticanus. Codex Vaticanus was regarded as the oldest extant copy of the Bible before the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and that's why it had them running. They didn't want it translated because it could change. The story could be completely different from what they had, apparently. Contents. Codex Vaticanus originally contained a virtually complete copy of the Septuagint, LXX, lacking only 1-4 Maccabees and the prayer of Manasseh. The original 20 leaves containing Genesis 1:1-46, 28a, 31 leaves, and Psalms 105, etc., have been lost and were replaced by pages transcribed by a later hand in the 15th century. So someone replaced them, okay, and they were transcribed? They were rewritten or copied in the 15th century. 2 Kings 2:5-7, etc. are also lost because of a tear to one of the pages. The order of the Old Testament books in the Codex is as follows: Genesis to Chronicles, and so forth. This order differs from that followed in Codex Alexandrinus. The extant New Testament of Vaticanus contains the Gospels, so forth. Possibly some apocryphal books from the New Testament were included at the end, as in Codices Sinaiticus and Alexandrinus, as it is also possible that Revelation was not included. Verses not in the Codex, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, all missing there. Phrases not in Vaticanus but in later manuscripts. Additions. In Matthew 27:49, the Codex contains added text. Okay, and took a spear, piercing his side, and out came water and blood. This reading was derived from John 19:34 and occurs in other manuscripts of the Alexandrian text type. Description on it, text type, notable readings, provenance. Okay. Scribes and correctors. According to Tischendorf, the manuscript was written by 3 scribes, A, B, C, 2 of whom appear to have written the Old Testament and 1 the entire New Testament. Tischendorf's view was accepted by Frederick G. Kenyon. Okay, but contested by T. C. Skeet, who examined the Codex more thoroughly. Skeet and other paleographers contested Tischendorf's theory of a third C scribe, instead inserting that 2 scribes worked on the Old Testament, A and B, and one of them, B, wrote the New Testament. Scribe A wrote Genesis 1, Genesis to 1 Kings, Psalms to Tobias. Scribe B wrote 1 Kings to 2 Esdra, Hosea to Daniel, and the New Testament. 2 correctors worked on the manuscript, 1, B2, etc., etc. There's all the information there. Okay. In the Vatican Library. It's housed in the Vatican Library. Collations. Okay. So it's all Roman Catholic, right? Okay, so that's that one. Codex Vaticanus, whatever this is. Let's have a look, go back over here. Yeah, Codex Vaticanus. Let's have a look at Codex Vaticanus B. Okay. Also known as Codex Vaticanus 377. Okay, is this known as 377? It's only known as B or 3. Okay, there's no hint that it's the same. Okay. Pre-Columbian Middle American pictorial manuscript, probably from the Puebla part of the Mixtec region, with a ritual and calendrical content. It is a member of the Borgia group of manuscripts. Borgian group is a scholarly designation of number of mostly pre-Columbian documents from central Mexico. In 1830 to 1831 they were first published in the entirety as coloured lithographs of copies made by Italian artist Agostino Aglio in volumes 2, etc. etc. Looks like a board game. Yeah. Description. Codex Vaticanus B is a screenfold book made from 10 segments of deerskin joined together, and so forth. Okay, the history of this manuscript prior to 1596, the date where it appears in the Vatican catalogue, where it was assigned the number 3773, is currently unknown. Its original catalogue entry reads like this: Religion of the Indians, and drawings, images and hieroglyphs on papers with boards. The paper has la 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 la. It has been speculated that the book arrived to the Vatican alongside Codex Vaticanus 3738. It was first noticed by Lino Fabrega, a Jesuit scholar who attempted the first interpretation of Codex Borgia. I don't think that these are a match. I'm not really sure. Okay, I don't know. It just happens to be Vaticanus B, known as Codex Vaticanus 377. So I don't know if there's a similarity here. You know, like in the, like it looks like this, but underneath it's really this. I'm not sure. I don't know where to start to prove that. If that's somebody's hinting at that, I don't really know. Okay. Codex Vaticanus originally contained a virtually complete copy of the Septuagint. Okay, that's what it supposedly looked like. Yeah, those are just thoughts in my head because of what this is stating here. When you graduate, of course, you will preach from the King James Version of the Bible because so many of the laymen believe it's the Word of God. So what's going on here? These Czech publications exaggerating something, or are they pointing out a fact? That when you go to these Bible seminars, colleges, institutions, to be taught by them, they're teaching you something completely different, right? This is, on the surface it's biblical like this, but really deep down, when you have a look at it, again, when you really know what you're talking about, it's actually like this. There's something else underneath. Okay, as Mauro Berglino stated, an Italian expert in Hebrew, Greek and Latin, I guess, commissioned to translate the ancient Masoretic texts, did so. He had a publishing contract, all that sort of thing, and it was stopped because he discovered underneath these stories, these biblical stories, written down by these Masoretes, there was another story, a whole lot of different stories, way older stories, which lead right back to the Sumerian, Akkadian, Babylonian cuneiform texts and the myths, like the Epic of Gilgamesh, all that sort of stuff, that gods came from the sky and saw a Neanderthal man or the other planet, etc., etc., mixed their DNA because they needed a slave worker, and all that sort of information, right? Yeah, so they cancelled his publishing contract, and he had a lot of books out that had been published, but he can't get hold of them. They've got the rights to them, they just won't release them, all that sort of stuff. And he went out there and he actually revealed the story, right, through an interpreter. Said that some people came after him, but many didn't. They supported him because they says, yeah, he's right, and at some point the truth is going to come to the surface, so why not now? Okay, it's who knows who's really behind that? Okay, could it be a fabrication? Who knows? have to get the research on that. Yeah, so that's what started us thinking, right? What are these Czech publications trying to get at, basically? Yeah. When you graduate, of course, you will preach from the King James Version of the Bible, because so many of the laymen believe it's the Word of God. Yes, agree with them. See, that kind of makes me think now, why did it have the Catholic Apocrypha up until 1889, then they took it out? Okay. Yeah, agree with them. Tell them it is the Word of God, but we know better. Only the original manuscripts are the Word of God, and alas, they are long since gone. So they are telling you, it's probably talking about the Greek manuscripts, but you've only got like fragments, you know, size of a mobile phone SIM card. Okay, you don't have the full. You have to put it all together to get a decent story. Alright. Okay. Yeah. Okay, he's saying it's long gone in that story. Those original manuscripts are long gone. Okay, so here I am. Okay, get back here a bit. So they say all the original manuscripts in Greek are gone, etc., etc., like that. But you have the supposedly original hidden and preserved manuscripts from the original church founded by Thomas and Thaddeus or Jude, maybe a couple of others, handed to this original church of the East by Thomas and the disciples, okay, to the high priests of that church, appointed high priests, who then hid them, the original manuscripts, therefore preserving them for over 2,000 years. Then you have a patriarch, Maishai Simon, 1957, head patriarch of that church, who stated that they were intact as the day they were given by the disciple Thomas, so they've never been messed with. So this Victor N. Alexander, he's translated those original manuscripts, because he bought a copy of the original manuscripts in a biblical format, Bible format, from a high priest of that church, okay, and then he translated it into English from there, okay, and this is the result: the Aramaic New Testament, or the Disciples' New Testament. He's also done the Old Testament, okay, from Brita to Malachi. He hasn't completed it all, okay, but there's enough there to go by, okay. Yeah, so these are the supposed original Galilean Aramaic manuscripts translated into English. So if they're supposed, from the supposed hidden and preserved manuscripts through that original church, there is original manuscripts in that old language, the Assyrian Aramaic, the Assyrian, so the Assyrian Aramaic or Aramaic, Kitab Asherit, Lishana Atika Sipre. Okay, so that's what I'm bringing to you. Okay, because just lift this up a bit because this light is kind of bright. Okay, yeah, so as they state here somewhere, only the original manuscripts are the Word of God, and alas, they are long since gone. So if they're preserved, hidden and preserved, what I just showed you is what God has preserved and had hidden over the centuries for over 2,000 years. Right, so that's what we're going by, rather than these Americanized modern biblical versions, Bible versions, which are stemming from the Roman Catholic Church, okay, put out there by the American Bible Societies, etc., along with their lies. Okay, I think we've spent enough time on this. So yeah, there's plenty more research to go there. Got to figure out if these guys are for real or they're exaggerating. Okay. So yeah, what I've read of late, there's an order behind the Vatican that's doing all this, the Jesuits, supposedly. Right. But you got to dig deep. You got to do your own personal research. Don't take my word for it. Okay, so if you like this video where we've revealed all this, I think it's still incomplete I'll have to go look at this video and see where we've gone astray or what we've missed out, and possibly do another one critiquing this one. Okay, so if you like this, subscribe to our channel, and yeah, add your likes, your comments, sorry, and give us a like, and then go tell your friends, hey, this new YouTube channel, the Ministry of the Real Truth, really has some cojones, and they're telling us the truth. There's no hype, no fluff. Yeah, they're bringing us the real truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So go take a look at them, and then subscribe, join up, and add your comments if you like it, as he states. Yeah, because it's something completely new, something completely different, and it's exposing all those